Today I'm going to be making a 3D daisy. And we all know daisies are Lori's absolute favorite, and Mother's Day is right around the corner. Okay? Just a hint. Make your mom a flower that won't die. Isn't this so pretty? The petals I used for this are going to be exactly like I'm going to show you tonight with the fabric mesh. This mesh I used is just a wide foil deco mesh. Nothing fancy, just wide foil, and it's a little bit sparkly. I happen to have these green deco tubing, so I thought, you know what, why not? Because it matches the green leaves. So doesn't it look like a gerbera or gerbera or whatever it's called? It's just a fun looking wreath. And it would look so cute in a little girl's room or on a bedroom door in a little girl's room. Like, how cute would that look? Seriously. You could put a nice long stem coming off it. And I've showed a couple times how to put this, make a stem. And hang a couple of these. So if you made a couple of them, you could do the outside of it light pink and the inside of it dark pink. Make two of them and have a stem kind of joining together, and it would make a really cute wall decor for a little girl's room, or even you're outside on your fence by your pool. Some of you remember when I first started, I made a pool fence, my pool fence. I made it this great big garden. Do you guys remember that? So we are going to do the exact same thing, except with fabric mesh, and I'm doing a daisy. What I'm going to do right now, I'm calling it like the 3D daisy. So let's start playing. So like I said, you get 2 rolls, and what we're going to do is we need, and I wrote it down, we need 32 10 by 20 pieces. So the mesh is 10 inches wide. We're going to cut 32 pieces at 20 inches long. That gives us a total of 640 inches. So I did the math, which is nice with the boards because you can actually pre-figure out what you're going to use, and it's also easier for pricing your finished product too. And then I'm going to cut 8 pieces at 10 inches, which is 80 inches. The total wreath will use 720 inches, which is exactly 2 rolls of mesh. Okay, so let's get started. Again, this is fabric mesh. You can use poly burlap to do this. You can use, like I showed, just deco mesh. But I'm going to cut my pieces at 20 inches long. Okay, so you need your mat, and I've already got lots of it pre-done. So you just want to cut it, 32 of them at 20 inches. Okay, now you can cut one roll, start your wreath, and then cut the next roll, so you don't have pieces of over the place. It's much easier to cut one roll, do those petals, and then come back, cut the other roll. Okay, and then unless you're really organized and you can keep the pieces from going all over the place. Okay, so once you got your 32 pieces at 20 inches, okay, we're going to be using this curl up. Okay, there it is. What I'm going to do, my serged or finished edges are at the top and the bottom of my mesh. You're going to take your clothespins, they're your handy dandy helpers, and bring it over, fold it over right to the corner till the 2 corners meet up, and clothespin it. Okay, and you're going to do the same for the bottom. And don't worry about the fray. You're not going to see any strings or anything. Okay, so there we go. And then you're going to make sure that the edges at the bottom and the top are on top of each other, and then just fold it right down the middle. Okay, just like that. So we have a square here. Then what you're going to do is take your square and turn it into a diamond shape. Okay. You need a couple of zip ties. What you're going to do then is take the bottom corner, bring it up to about the middle, just like that. And your top corner, bring it down and just about an inch over top of this corner, you're going to fold it over top. So it kind of looks like an envelope. Okay. And then what you're going to do, usually we would scrunch right down the middle or pleat right down the middle. This time we're going to do it about a fingertip away from the middle. So you can just guess, but we don't want it exactly in the middle. Okay. And then what you're going to do is hold your middle and scrunch just like that. Okay. It's not quite in the center, and you can see one piece is longer than the other piece. Okay. Take a zip tie and you're going to wrap it around where you just scrunched it up. Now use 4-inch zip ties to do this part, but it's really important that you have one smaller piece than the other. Here's my scissors. Hello, everybody, for joining. Thank you for joining me. We are doing a 3D sunflower, or a 3D daisy, sorry. Okay, and then you're going to take your nipper and you're going to nip off the zip tie tail. All right, let's do this again. Folding it in half again. Again, this is the 20-inch piece. Once you fold it in half, make a crease down the center. You're going to put it into a diamond. Okay. Okay. Bottom to the middle. Top corner, just a bit over that bottom corner. There's my center where my finger is. And I'm going to scrunch about a fingertip over or an inch over from the center. So it's not completely centered. All right. And then you're going to put a zip tie around it. Snip off the tail. So I know, I'm sorry, I confused you guys. I confused myself because people were talking to me and I couldn't find myself. So your 20-inch, again, curl up, match up the corners, use your clothespins. Now you can try this, especially if you're going to use poly burlap. You do not, if you were using poly burlap, you probably don't have to double up your mesh like this. Poly burlap's a lot thicker. I didn't want to use poly burlap because it's scarce right now. So why teach you guys something where you won't be able to make it? So then I thought, well, I'll give them kits. That way you guys have everything and you don't have to search for anything. Okay, bottom corner to the center, and just guess around the center where the center is. Top, fold it over just a bit over top of the bottom corner. There's my center where my finger is, and I'm going to scrunch just a little off of the center and zip tie around it. So this one is a really good Sunday afternoon project because it does take a bit of time, but it's fun to make, and the end result is going to be so totally cute. Definitely perfect for a Mother's Day because literally I don't know any ladies. Is there anybody on here that does not like daisies? And Travis, just email info@uniqueinthecreek.com and they will help you. Okay, so we are using the large board. You can, however, do it on the small board. This pink one that I did, this one was done on the small board. Okay, so you can do it on the small board. I like the large board, even though we're starting on row 2. It just, that gives your petals a little bit of backbone so they don't flop over or anything. So you got that little bit of plastic in behind. So like I said, your petals don't flop over or anything. And it makes a nice big 3D daisy. Or Black-Eyed Susan or sunflower, whatever you want to call it. So what you're going to do, we're going to preload rows 2, 3, and 4. And preloading means, for any newbies, that we're going to preload row 2, and there is a number 2 on the top here. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to be doing row 2. You're going to go take your zip tie with the flat part of your zip tie facing where the tail is going to be. The flat part and the tail, when they're put together, you'll hear a zipping sound and it locks. It has to be flat side to tail. Okay. This is a 5.5-inch center. I do have these on our website, both brown and yellow, pre-made, and they do come with the pipe cleaner and the U-pins already on the back. I also, if you don't want a kit and you have it, you have a lot of large boards already, I do have some white fabric mesh on our website as well, uniqueinthecreek.com. So if you want to make one on the side without a kit, feel free, but the kit is your best bang for your buck. Okay, so we're going to go down one hole, up the other, and do your zip tie until you hear the zipping sound. You're not going to totally close it. You're going to leave space between the board and your zip tie, and it's locked. Okay, you're going to do this for rows 2, all the holes on 2. So just hear that little zip. And then on row 3, you'll see that there's a lot more holes. There's holes that are really close together. Those are our original holes. We put extra holes because there are some designs that people do that need quite a few more holes. So we put more holes in for those designs that need it. This one doesn't need it. Oh, wait a second. No. Oh, sorry. We're not preloading 3. My bad. We're using 2, 4, and 5. We're only using 3 rows. So you just have to preload 2 and 4. Sorry about that. Yes, fabric mesh is, you can put it outside. It is weatherproof and water resistant. And usually you spray your wreaths so it doesn't fade. The nice thing with the white is it won't fade. So you really don't have to spray it. So we're going down and up rows 2 and 4. Okay. When you're done that, we're going to start putting the row 5 we'll do at the end. because it's done just a little bit differently. Okay, so once you got rows 2 and 4 preloaded, voila, we got one almost done. It doesn't even fit in the camera. It's so big. Look at this thing's a monster. Okay, to finish off our flower and to make the petal, you're going to take the petal you just made, okay, and you're going to take the small end. Okay, you're going to take the small and you're going to fold it down. Fold it down. Okay, so the zip tie is not on the top of the petal, but it's just a little bit down, and that's why we wanted the small and a big end. Okay, and what you're going to do is I kind of pull this out, flip it over, pull down, and then scrunch it like that. Oh, we don't want a string. And that is your petal. And I have strings. Okay, so that's your petal. So it looks like a daisy petal. Then what you're going to do on row 2 is once you got your petal done, and I'll be doing a few of these, so if you didn't catch it that time, I'll be doing it again. You're going to slip in your tail through the zip tie, and that's why we leave it open and preloaded open. And I'm going about an inch past the line on row 3. So when you get your board, there is lines between the holes to indicate which row is which row. But you can also just measure it with the neighboring petal beside it to make sure it's the same length. All right, and then you're just going to do up your zip tie. Cut the tail off. And then we're going to do another one. Now the reason we double it is so you don't see through it, and we got that nice white color. Scotch Guard, that's what I use. Thank you. Yes, 2 rolls of mesh. So again, you're going to take your small piece, you have your large piece and your small piece, bring it, fold it over on itself, and you'll see the small piece is tucked right in to the larger piece. Okay, flip it over, and you can tug on this. So tug on it, and with your hand, and now I'm holding at the top, I'm holding it down right below the zip tie. And this, like I said, the zip tie is not at the top of the petal, it's just below it, so you don't see it. And bring it down. And there's your petal. We're going to insert it into the zip tie. And now you see why we preload our board, so you don't have to have the hassle of trying to hold your petal and put your zip tie in at the same time. So you're going to go around and do all of row 2 just like that. Now you can move your petals out a bit if they're too short, and you can pull it and widen it. I like it wide, so just wide enough that it's touching the neighboring petal. You see how it's just touching the neighboring petal here? And that's just by pulling it to the side and stuff. Okay. Now you can pre-make these. This one is pre-made, and you put a little elastic around it. The next one I do, I'll show you how you can pre-make them. Again, you're going to just slide in the tail and pull on the zip tie. Easy, right? It takes a little bit of practice to get the petal going. So if you have extra mesh hanging around, I would suggest maybe just practicing a couple petals before you start manipulating the fabric mesh because we are using the exact amount of 2 rolls. Okay, so if you want to pre-make your petals, which I did upstairs in bed while I watched Dr. Phil, I have my little portable cutting mat. I think I left it up there, that I just had on my lap, and I pre-made the petals. So I zip tied them like I just showed you, and then I made my petal. So you're just flipping down. I'm just kind of separating the sides here so it makes almost like a cup at the bottom. Flip it over just like that. We're going to tug these down. Okay, still holding the top there, and that zip tie is still just at the top, but you can't see it. Take your hand and just bring it down. Give it a pull to make sure it's nice and tight or taut. And then you can take these little mini elastic bands or rubber bands, and you get them at the dollar store in the hair section, and just wrap the elastic around it a couple times, and then you can throw it into a bucket or a plastic bag or something. And that way, when you're done all your petals, all you do is whip them into the frame. It goes really, really fast. So you can make this in your lap, no problem. The only thing you can't do in your lap is cut the mesh. So that's what I do. I bring all my stuff up to my room, watch some TV, and make my petals. Okay, so now we are on, once you're finished row 2, we skipped row 3 because we didn't need it. And here's an orange one I was playing with. Orange is pretty too. This is fabric mesh as well. So row 3, I already did some of it. You're going to take your petal, bring it in, and you can just guesstimate about how far you want it in. You want it far enough in that it's going past the board here. So if I lay this down, it's definitely going past the board. Okay, and don't flatten it because this is 3D, remember? Okay, last number 3. So I'm going to flip the board over to give you guys a visual on what I've done. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better than I was. Okay, let me flip it over and I can show you what we're done. Great, so if you look at the back, still nice and neat. So the customer will not even know how you made this. So you did all of row 2. We skipped row 3. Now, if you have extra mesh, like if you have another roll of mesh, although we're already using 2 rolls, you can put in row 3, but it'll just make it look fuller. That's all. Two. So this is actually row 1, and we'll be using some green on row 1 for the leaves. Okay, row 2, we used every hole, so there's 16 of them. I know you could probably barely see it because of the glare. We skipped row 3. We did row 4. So there's 16 and 8. And then row 5, we are going to do 8 of them. 8 petals. So we're going to be using shared holes, which means there's 2 zip ties that share 1 hole. But I'll get to that in a sec. What I want to do is trim up the tails in the center here. Okay, so these 3 are already done on row 5. So when I flip it over, you can see that those are the 3 of them. What you're going to do is we're going to add the rest of the zip ties. So some people preload their board like that, upside down. So you're going down the holes, just like that. Or just go down and up. What we're doing is filling all of row 5 with zip ties. Now the replays are amazing to follow when you're doing kits and stuff, because you can take your time and you can pause it, you can rewind as many times as you need till you get the look you're wanting, or the petal. I'm just going to cut this back a little bit more so I can see the holes. Mother's Day coming up, and this and a rose is an absolute must for Mother's Day. Instead of flowers that will die, make your mom a wreath. The heck happened here? That was wrong. Make your mom a wreath and it doesn't die. She can put it in her bathroom, she can put it in her bedroom, she can put it in her laundry room. What am I doing here? White and the clear zip ties are really hard to see. So I'll flip it over and I'll show you what I'm doing, because it is a little difficult with white zip ties and white mesh. And yes, these do fit between 2 doors. Okay, so when you flip it over, to make sure you got them all, they should look like stitching. You see it goes all the way around. So we used all the holes. These are the normal holes, and then we used the holes from here to here, shared holes. So it looks like stitching. So there's 8 of them. Okay. And once you got your 8, I'm going to trim my tail. It'll be easier when I'm putting them in. Okay, so I ended right here. So what we're going to do is, again, stick in your petal. And I'll do the petal again for those of you who are just joining us. And just all I'm doing is making sure that they're the same length. Hello. Oh, thank you for the belated birthday. So we want to make sure that the petals are the same length, especially the center, because the center is the first thing that everybody sees. Okay. Exactly. So when you gift this to whoever you're going to gift it to, you can actually write on the board a little note and your signature and date it and make it even more special. Or if you're selling it, especially like at a craft show or something, make sure that you tape your business card on the back or put some kind of sticker to so the person knows where to get her next wreath from. Or if her friend comes over and says, oh my gosh, I need this huge daisy, where did you get it? That person will just flip it over and say, this is the email address or the Facebook page or the Etsy shop, and it'll be right there. So they won't have the answer of, oh, I just got it at a craft show and I don't know who made it. All right, so let's continue. So these ones, I'm just trimming the tail so I don't have a whole bunch of mess in there. And it's easier to trim the tail than when it's on the board. So again, I'm putting the tail of the petal in and just kind of guesstimating with the neighbor beside the distance. Okay, do I have any more petals made? No, I don't. Okay, so we're going to flip this over. I need 1, 2, 3 more petals. So I'll flip it over. Make sure you give it a tug. Make sure that that zip tie is still at the top And we're going to snip some of this off so there's not so much bulk. And slide it in. And we're almost done. 2 more. Isn't this a cute little daisy? It's so big. Thank you. There's only one daisy or sunflower kit that you can order. So if you paid for that one, then you ordered correct. So again, just make sure that they're about the same length to their neighboring ones. Now, when you look down, you do see some of the board. However, when you hold it up, you won't see the board, okay? So when it's hanging on your door, the board won't be seen. Give it a tug, make sure everything is nice and tight. And the last one. Now, there's still one more step we're going to do. And you don't have to do this next step. Yes, if you want it fuller, I would order more mesh. Now, saying that, you can get away with using a single 10 by 10 piece on row 3. So if I flip it over, you can use a single piece on row 3 and row 4. Okay, so just the normal holes, you can do that and it'll make it fuller. Or you can still double up your pieces and add, you know, another 8. That just adds more mesh to your thing. Great. So now I have, at the beginning I said you cut 8 10 by 10 pieces. This is just optional that you can do. Although I might just leave it because it looks really cute as it is. So there's my yellow center. Isn't that cute? Actually, I think I might just leave it like that. You can go around. Now, if you look at a daisy, it does have a little bit of an outer petal thing around the center. So what you can do on row 5 is we can go over top of this existing zip ties, do it up just till you hear the zip. And then at the beginning, I told you to do some 8 10 by 10 pieces. So you take your 10 by 10 piece and we're working with it curl up. Bring it right up the 2 finished edges. Bring the bottom and match it up with the top. And I'm going to just trim away some of this so it's not so ragged. Okay. And then I'm just going to scrunch the bottom where it's folded. And that gives you a little fan-like formation with the mesh, like this. And then you can put it right in. Probably have to cut a little bit of this off, and then pull it. So this little fan thing just goes around the center. Okay, so you can do it like that. I'm just going to do 4 pieces, but you have enough that you can do all 8. So you would put a zip tie around every single one of these and do that. Okay, this again is a 10 by 10 piece. I'm folding it up so the 2 finished edges meet. Cut a little bit of it off. I'm just cleaning the edges up. And then I'm scrunching at the bottom where it's folded. Okay, and like I said, it makes a little fan. And like I said just a few minutes ago, you do not have to do this part. You can just leave the daisies. But I think it looks kind of cute, kind of finishes. Okay, that's 2. I'm going to do, and I'm only going in the original 4 holes. You can do all 8 if you want. So where I'm going is these 2 smaller holes. So right here, right here, right here, and right here. All right, there we go. And you can do any flower that you do, you can make a little border like I'm doing with your mesh. So just scrunch at the bottom where it's folded. And it gives that nice little trim. Isn't this a fun wreath? And it's big. It's large. All right, one more. It's going to be a heck of a time getting down to the middle holes, but we can do it. Okay, one more. Oops. I like it a lot too, only because it's like literally my favorite flower. How can you not smile when you see a daisy? And they're just so simple and perfect. Simply perfect. Alrighty, there's our center. And like I said, you can do this for any of your flowers. Just gives it a little added touch. Now, there's 4 pipe cleaners. you know what? I don't want all 4 pipe cleaners. I'm just going to use 1 pipe cleaner. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on there. And I'll just wait for that to dry. And now I'm going to cut some leaves. Now, the green leaves, you can put, there's 16 holes on row 1. You do not have to use 16 holes. Obviously, you can put 2 green leaves. You can put 8 green leaves. You can put 16 green leaves if you want. I think I'm just going to do maybe 4. Or maybe 2 here and 2 here. I don't know. But to do the green leaves, you're going to take your mesh. Let's clean up my mesh here. Messy, messy, messy. And I'm going to cut these at 10 inches. Okay, there's 2. I think I'm just going to do 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. But like I said, you can put however many you like. Okay, so I'm going to show you upside down how to put the leaves on. This flower is quite large. Okay, so what you're going to do, there's the top. So let's put our hanging hole. So 2 holes that are pretty close together. I'm going to go down and up and then just make a hanger just like that. Okay, you can trim that tail off and you're good to go. You can also make a ribbon hanger, a ribbon bow hanger, which I was going to do because I'm definitely keeping this wreath for myself. And I picked out this gorgeous ribbon. So I can make a ribbon bow hanger. Okay, so I'm going to go right here for my leaves. So I just put my zip tie in just like that. Let it sit in on the petal. You're going to take your green, fold one in, fold the other in, just like we did with the daisy. But this time just scrunch it right up the center and flip it. Okay, so it looks like that. Oh, you guys can see that. Now, because I'm upside down, this is the good side, and this is the not so good side where you can see the leaves turning in. I'm going to have that facing this way and just tuck the bent part underneath the board. Okay, pull tight and pop it in the hole. So you have nothing on the back that will scratch the door. Okay, so there's one leaf. I'm going to do another leaf right beside it. Okay, again, 10 by 10, curl up, put it into a diamond, bring the corner, and then scrunch right up the center. Flip it. Okay, and this is the good side. This is the not so good side. So we want the good side facing where the flower would be, right? Or the flower side. So I just put my zip tie in between where it's rounded there. Do your zip tie up around the board. So I'm using this hole to around the board, putting the folded part just underneath so it's sitting on the board. And you're going to pull tight and then pop the zip tie right into the hole. Okay, so when you flip it over, you can see your green leaves coming out the side. Okay, so I'm going to do another 2 just diagonal. Why do I have mesh all over the place? Just directly diagonal. And I'll do it the same way. Again, you can put how many green leaves you want, or you don't have to put any. It's totally up to you. So I'm just going right across from each other. And corner, the corner, and then scrunch right up the middle and flip it. This is just the normal sunflower petal. But normally the way I make my leaves, because it looks like leaves. Okay. Pull it tight and then pop it in the hole and then cut. So we still have a very neat backing and nothing to scratch the door. And one more leaf. I sure can, Joan. Just let me finish this green leaf. So again, curl up, corner in, corner in. So you have like an envelope shape. And we're going to scrunch it right up the center. Flip it. And when I flip it, what I'm doing is just pretty much guessing or trying to get the leaves about the same size on each side. Take your zip tie, going around from row 1 around the board. Kind of tuck that under so it's sitting on the board. Pull your zip tie tight, pop it in the hole. Pop it in the hole, pop it in the hole. That's my Snoop Dogg. Pop it in the hole. There we go. Now we got green leaves. And let's put our center on and we're done. Oh, and I have a little extra something I found to just make this even more fabulous. So now you're going to take your pre-made center. Now I have shown many different ways on our YouTube channel to make different centers and stuff. So for instance, this center I did on the Gerbera. I used deco tubing right onto the board. So there's no plastic canvas. Everything is done right on the board. So you don't need anything extra. And guys, honestly, work smarter, not harder. Like it's quite easy to use the boards because you don't have to do anything extra. And now I'm going to try and find the 2 holes right in the center. And that's where my pipe cleaner is going to go. And I have to dig through the mesh in the center. Oh, there's one. There's one. And I'm going to find the other one. Oh, I can see it. I can see it. There it is. All right. Got it. So we're going to bring our ruffles out. So they're going to surround the center and pull it down from below. Pull your zip tie or your pipe cleaner down. I just like the little ruffle. It just frames the center cute. All right, once you got it on, give it a twist, your pipe cleaner. Take your wire nippers, cut some of the pipe cleaner off, and then you're going to stick the pipe cleaner back down the hole so there's nothing again to scratch the door. And there we go. She is done. Is she not cute? Look how beautiful this is. It is so adorable. I love it. Error. Now I found in my little stash something just perfect. Now this doesn't come in the kit, but these are just little felt stickers. I believe I got them at Hobby Lobby. They're little ladybugs and they come in different sizes. I think this one will be too big, but this one's perfect. It's just felt. And I'm going to put it with a little bit of glue. If I had a glue stick. Just like that. And I'm going to put it maybe right there. Just to top it off. Soup's cute. Let me move the camera. Move it. Hello. And there we go. And it is big. It's so cute. Oh, just want to turn him a little bit more. There we go. Right? Yeah, no, the light pink, this one was done like this one, except for the outside row. And this is done on the small board. It's not as big. And it's just one piece. But you see how it kind of flops? That's why I like the large board, because the large board gives it some backbone, so the petals are not floppy. But it is really nice still on the small board, right? So cute. Now this was wide foil deco mesh. This outside piece was 1 10 by 10, and I just did it the same way. These ones here are the 20 by 10. So you can see the 10 by 10 you can see through, which is okay because there's no board behind it. But the double petals we don't want to see through because we don't want to see the board. And they're both, this one's just a little bit smaller. However, this one is more sturdy because, like I said, it's got the back of the board to support your petals. And it comes out to be, here's my 10-inch, just the actual flower itself is 23 inches. And then you give a little bit more inches if you put your leaves on. Isn't it adorable? So we'll have to move around just in case you can see your board. Just move your petals around. But when it's hanging on the door, you won't see anything. You can see it on the side view, but that's it. It was easy peasy lemon squeezy. 2 rolls of fabric mesh. So if you already have large boards, I have the centers. And so I have both centers. I even have brown. The centers on our website. I do have the white fabric mesh on my website. I don't have a lot. I don't know if we have any yellow fabric mesh left, but we do have the sunflower kit, which you can do exactly like this and put the brown center in, and it will look like Black-Eyed Susan. I might go and add a little bit more green, but there you go. The 3D daisy, my favorite.